Fakes to Swift, and he punches it in. And the Detroit Lions punching back. They get the safety, now the touchdown by Swift.
Packers perfect on third down so far. Rodgers steps up, eyes on the end zone, he'll run and get in, touchdown. They stay perfect on third down, and Rodgers gets his 31st career rushing touchdown.
Fake to Cook. The pass complete to Conklin, the tight end. And Conklin down to the goal line. Conklin in for a Viking touchdown. A first down from the 14 of Minnesota. Trying to get more. It's Montgomery who has a hole. Montgomery to the end zone. What a run for the Bears. And a touchdown.
Pylon listeners, Week 15 of the NFL season has just about wrapped up, and we have the Pylon crew here to break down everything going on here within the NFC North. A lot is going on with three of the teams. My team, the Detroit Lions, not so much, but the reigning three teams still have something going on. So let's get into it here. So I'm Big Z representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around the rest of the crew. We got Kinger representing the most likely number one seed in the NFC, Packers.
It's great to be back, as always, boys, and definitely I'm a little giddy today. We're in a good mood. Had some good things happen this weekend. Packers got to win. We're in a good spot.
Then we got Remy. Remy representing the Vikings in a tough one today.
Tough loss, but Jefferson is just making history, baby.
Then last but not least, the resurgent Bears. We got Barney.
The weather's getting colder. The Bears are getting better. Oh, it's a bad time to get in the way of the Bears, baby.
All right. So let's break it down here for our listeners, and let's jump to that Saturday night game. First of all, just a weird-ass time to have an NFL game while the SEC championship is going on. They throw the Packers and Panthers on the NFL Network. Just a bizarre coverage there, Kinger. But the Packers get off to a hot start, and then they cool off dramatically in the second half, but they do just enough to survive the Panthers. How do you feel about this game, the up and downs of it all?
First half, I was feeling great. I mean, the game started exactly how I thought it was going to, right? I mean, and Green Bay looked like the team that everybody says they are. You know, they looked like a dominant football team for that first half. Really did, I wouldn't say whatever they want on the offensive side of the ball, but they were very efficient, right? They were able to move it efficiently versus that Panthers defense. The defense played very well, and ultimately coming up with that big stop, causing Bridgewater to fumble the ball on the goal line there in the second quarter. Kevin King returning it, 50-something yards back into into Carolina territory. They score a touchdown, take a 21-3 lead, and everything is looking good. But unfortunately, in typical Packer fashion, the second half came around, and the offense went 5 straight possessions without scoring. And against a good team, that's not going to get it done. They squeaked out the win. Carolina, credit to them, they played hard, right? They kept themselves in the game. They made some plays on the defensive side of the ball. But I was pretty obviously disappointed. I think a lot of people were with how much that offense was stalled in the second half, right? And you talk to LaFleur after the game, and he's saying that he takes obviously a lot of responsibility for it. They felt that they got away from the run game too much, which was obviously working quite well. That seemed to be what the Packers should have relied on, obviously, a little bit more. Aaron Jones had a great day, 20 carries for 145 yards and a score. Rodgers was able to make some plays with his feet as well. He got another rushing touchdown yesterday. And it kind of just seemed like the flow completely was taken away when they started to kind of pick up in that passing game. Now, again, Carolina was doing some good things on Davante Adams. They seemed to really tempt Rodgers into making some of those quick throws and made stops, but it was a tough battle in the second half. Luckily, we did enough. Mason Crosby hit the field goal to make it a 2-possession game there late in the fourth. So we were able to get a win. A win is ugly, but like they said, they still control their own fate, and you'll take the win no matter what in the NFL, right? You just got to hopefully improve, like we always say, and get back at it next week.
And, Kinger, a win is a win, especially after seeing what happened to the Rams today against the Jets at home. Literally, you got to take the win when you can, no matter how ugly it is.
No doubt about it.
The other question I wanted to pose to the rest of the crew here, Remy and Barney, are the Packers the best team in the NFC? And if not, who do you think is? Because I mean, the Packers are. It looks like by all accounts, they just need to win one of the remaining 2 games. But who do they have remaining here, Kinger? I know they have the Bears week 17. Who do they have next week?
We got Tennessee at home next week.
Oh, well, I mean, it's possible to go into and not get that number 1 seed still, for sure. Tennessee's a wrecking ball on offense. But so, Barney, I'm sorry you're shaking your head. Who do you think is the best team in the NFC right now?
Honestly, it's tough. I think there's an argument for about 3 teams that can, kind of say, hey, we should be the ones, that'll be coming out of the NFC here. I think it really just has to deal
Barney,
with.
I just want to stop you real quick. The third team you're talking about is Seattle, correct?
Yeah.
Because the Rams just lost to the Jets today.
What about the Buccaneers?
Yeah, honestly, I was leaning towards Buccaneers, but
Okay.
But really, what I want to say is that it's all matchups here. If Green Bay faces a team that can really run the ball well and has a solid defense, like the Rams, or I honestly like Tampa Bay up against you guys too, and even the Saints. Like, that's just a hard matchup, X's and O wise, for the Pack. I'm not going to say the Pack haven't done like what they like their resumes and what they shouldn't be first. But I'm just saying, like, if they run in early to one of those run-heavy teams with a solid defense, that's where the troubles are going to happen for the Pack. If they run, if they get to face, honestly, if you guys face the Seahawks, I don't think that's a game you guys lose. I don't know. It's matchups here. I think the NFC is pretty ugly, to be honest. And everybody played pretty bad this week. That's even up at that top leaderboard, but I'll shut up because I'm pretty sure I just confused the shit out of everybody listening.
Revy, what do you think? Packers best team in the NFC?
No.
Unbiasedly?
No. I mean, it's like Barney said, it's matchups, and I think the Packers have won the games they're supposed to win, but I mean, they go up against an elite team in the playoffs. Tampa Bay destroyed them when they play. You just no. I mean, Minnesota beat them at home, like you said. When there's a run, when they can run, the Packers can't stop it. So, for the sake of I hate the Packers, no, they're not the number 1 seed. No.
All right, Kinger. I mean, do you think the Packers are the best team in the NFC?
I think they should be absolutely at the top of that conversation. The only other, every single team that we talk about here has had blunders this season, right? And like Barney said, maybe he maybe said it best that the NFC might be a little bit of a mess, but there's no clear front runner that's ahead of the Packers in the NFC, right? I don't think you can make that argument anywhere, unless they had their dud week against Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay is what, 9-5, 10-5? What's Tampa Bay's record now? I don't know if anybody has that off the top of the head.
9-5, I believe you're right.
9-5, right. So, the outside of that game, I think the only other team, you're right, Seattle's proven that they have not been really what everybody thought they were. The only other argument really, they played the Chiefs pretty tight today, is the Saints, but the Packers beat the Saints week 3. So, I don't think you can make that argument that anybody's better than Green Bay. Like Remy said, we've won the games we're supposed to, and honestly, outside of that Tampa Bay game, our 2 other losses, Minnesota did handle us, but we were right there with Indianapolis the whole game, and quite frankly, I think we should have won that game. We didn't deserve to win it, but we were good enough to win the game that day. Actually, that's probably a bad way to put it, but I thought we could have easily won that game. So it's tough to make that argument. I think it's a very strong chance we win at least one of these next 2. I'm hoping that we take care of business versus Tennessee next week and, can have that additional extra week of rest. And I'm sure Barney, as a Bears fan, would love that as well. If, Green Bay wins and then gets to bench sit all their starters for that extra week of rest against the Bears, I would absolutely love that. So we're just got to wait and see where we go from here. But, I think they're the best team, and rightfully so will earn that number 1 seed if they get one more win this season.
For sure. So let's move on to the next game now. We don't have to take too long to talk about my Detroit Lions here, so we can spend the rest of the time talking about the Vikings-Bears, which is a lot more interesting game. The Lions Kept it within 9 points at halftime, which I guess is a big success for them. And then the second half was just an utter disaster. I mean, our defense is complete shit. So, I mean, there is no surprise here that the Lions get destroyed today. Derrick Henry runs all over Corey Davis with an 85-yard touchdown catch, pretty much uncontested. Just brutal all the way around. Oh, man. But the Lions officially eliminated from the playoffs. Barney, I lose my bet to you that they'd hit the over. And the Lions right now are sitting at the 10th overall pick. We'll see if we record this right now as the Giants are playing the Browns. The Giants win, the Lions will move up to 9. And they can move all the way up to the 4th pick overall, which, it is what it is. So now it's time for Lions fans to be in that familiar position again where we start talking about our personal Super Bowl, the NFL draft. It's the most exciting point of the year every year, and we'll start seeing what happens with Matt Stafford. There's a lot of things that we'll get into this offseason, I'm sure. But again, there's not much to talk about. DeAndre Swift, I guess, is the only one I wanted to talk about today. Looked really good, really promising running back going forward. I hope they utilize him a lot more. He'll be a top fantasy running back next year for sure, unless you're in one of those what do they call it? Those leagues where you could draft a rookie, and then you get to keep them going forward. I forgot what they
Dynasty
call those.
leagues, keeper leagues.
Dynasty league,
Yeah.
Dynasty league.
Yeah.
That's the one. So if you have him, you're in really, really good shape, I think. Yeah, I mean, Lions, eliminated from playoff contention, so there's not much more we need to discuss right now. And the last thing I want to add, kudos to Stafford for getting it out there today. They pulled him when he just needed 20 more yards to get the over on the passing yards, which I took. That was a little frustrating. I don't know why. He didn't take any bad hits, and then they took him out of the game, maybe for precautionary reasons. Yeah, Barney, you want to throw in something there about my Lions?
Do you think Stafford's playing his last games right now as a Lion?
Are you asking me to just make a way too early guess on if he comes back or not? I think he's going to be back next year. That's my guess. They draft a quarterback, I think, in the first round. Again, this is all way too early, but Stafford will come back and he'll be the starter next year. I don't think whoever they pick first is going to be the starter week 1 next year. My way too early prediction too is that we draft Zach Wilson out of BYU. That's my most exciting pick without diving too deep into all these prospects yet. I don't want Justin Fields. He's had a terrible year. The guy makes bad decisions all the time. Good arm, holds on the ball way too long, kind of like Carson Wentz-ish, like in terms of hold on the ball forever and cause them to make mistakes. That's hard to teach. That's hard to teach. I've at least in my experience watching football, it seems like it's hard to get out of people that like invincibility that they feel that they can make a play on any play. So let's move to your game, though. We don't need to talk about the Lions anymore right now. We'll have a lot more extensive discussions on their direction when that all starts to ramp up. But the Bears.
Speak of
And the
elimination
Vikings.
games.
Man, what a game. An offensive shootout, just like everybody thought would happen, right? The final score of this one, 33-27. The Bears, Barney, it's nice to have a kicker, huh? It's really nice to have a kicker, eh?
Oh man, I mean, there's been a few positives in this season, and just like having trust in the kicker just feels so fucking good again.
Dan Bailey made all his kicks today as well. Saved his job.
Yeah. But I mean, 21-23 this year, Cairo Santos, and correct me if I'm wrong, Barney, but was he signed because Eddie Pinheiro got injured? That's the only reason he was even signed to the team?
Yeah, Pinheiro wasn't going to be able to start the season, so he was just kind of supposed to be like the week-to-week fill-in, but, hit his kicks, and, it's his spot to lose.
Definitely. So let's talk more about the game now. Mitch Trubisky, 15-21, 202 yards, touchdown, almost a killer interception at the end of the game. But the bigger story is probably the rush game. 146 yards for Dave Montgomery, 2 touchdowns. Barney, you've been shitting on this offensive line all season. Have they turned it around? What's going on here? Why is the offense suddenly ticking up to 30 points a game in the last 3.
Absolutely. Well, it's because of a few things. I pointed them out the last couple of weeks, but now that we're seeing consistency, it's easier to label it here. Mustafa coming in as center is just everyone's talking about him inside the huddle, saying he's just commanding of respect, and he's pointing out the Mike linebackers, much better and much more clear than what was being done before. Also, we got our defensive tackle Rashad Coward out of the line, so that's also just addition by subtraction right there. But Bars, he's played a little bit better as a backup, and Ifedi kicked out the right tackle to fill in for Massey. They're doing a great job, and this is Montgomery's best day. He had 146 yards on the ground, 2 TDs, but the real indicator here is we trusted him with the ball. We gave him 32 attempts, and we don't do that. We don't even run the ball more than 20 times, in 90% of our games. But we committed to the run. Like I said, the guys heading that line are doing well and giving us some looks. And I'm just gonna say it. This team is a line away from being a very scary team. Montgomery is Matt Forte, reincarnated here. He's just very shifty. He's quick. He's not fast. He has good vision and he's patient. And he's really good out of the backfield with dump offs. And I gotta say a credit to Bill Lazor here and Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy for giving up the play calling. But ever since Bill's taken over, this team has a better identity and actually attacks when we get out there. When we get the ball, I don't immediately think is this going to be a 3 and out, and it's a good feeling. But I think the best thing about this is Mitch looked fucking confident today. Never seen him play this confident, even when he had his best games. It just looked every snap he didn't have that, chicken with his head cut off sort of look on his face. And, they didn't ask him to do too much. He was very efficient, 15 of 21. It was just a hell of a game. The Vikings played real tough. Every time we scored, it was like they immediately scored right afterwards. Didn't give us much time to even enjoy the score there. They kept us on our heels or on our toes, and it was a good fought battle, and it was nice because the only times that Trubisky really had great games were in blowouts, like in Houston and in Dallas and in Tampa Bay. This one was one where he needed to be good all 4 quarters. And he really hasn't had that up to this point. And like I said, going into this week, we were averaging 30 points a game since Bill Lazor took over. And, that's another 30-point game. And tip my cap to the guys for noticing their weaknesses and making some moves.
Definitely. So Remy, let's go on the flip side here. What's up with this Minnesota defense against this Chicago Bears offense? That seemed to be the bigger issue than anything the offense really did in this game.
Yeah, no. Well, as I stated throughout the summer on this podcast, that history shows that Minnesota would not make the playoffs this year. But there is still a chance. We could win our last 2. The Cardinals have to lose their last 2, and then the Bears just have to lose 1 game. Coming up, we got the Saints, and then we got the Lions. So 4% chance. But you take this as an elimination game, and as an elimination game with a running back as caliber as Dalvin and a quarterback who hasn't been injured and who has looked decent his past month and a half. With this depleted defense, with no Danielle Hunter, with no Eric Kendricks, arguably 2 of our best defenders on our team, and definitely top 10 in each of their position. I like the way we fought against a team who really is confident, like Barney said. Mitch looks confident. He made all the throws. He's mobile. He can take off. They ran their offense. They ran a lot of motion. the thing is with Minnesota is, yes, we are young, but Cameron Dantzler keeps showing out. Another pick, but our defense is going to look, and if it's Trubisky moving forward, I guarantee you it's going to be a lot harder to do those things that Trubisky liked doing today. But the Bears remind me a lot. The Bears defense reminds me a lot of Minnesota. It's like you guys got the front up there, and it makes it impossible to run, and your linebackers are set. And so, no Anthony Barr, no Eric Kendricks, no Danielle Hunter. It makes it tough, but I do like the fight that we put up with. Justin Jefferson just broke Randy Moss's receiving record with 70 catches on the year, his rookie season. So, I mean, a lot of promises with him. And, I almost thought they almost caught that Hail Mary at the end. That was crazy. I literally thought it was about to be tipped. But, like you said, it was back and forth, no room for error. 6 points. We could have walked it off with a tutty, which is what I was hoping. But sometimes you're the fly and sometimes you're the fly on the windshield. And I think this offense is hot, but the defense just has to stay rock solid. And, at this point, all we do is pray. Hats off to the Bears. They played us well. It's hard to beat a team twice, and Chicago proved that.
Remy, I was taking us back to that Hail Mary toss. I was sitting there. I'm like, dude, we got Kendall Vildor out there. We got we had just
what hurt us was not having
Houston,
Kyle Rudolph.
Carson.
If Kyle Rudolph is in there, that's a catch. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Brutal drop.
I just saw when you guys crossed the 50. I'm like, oh man, like our secondary's so fucked
Beat
right
up.
now. And I was just like, this is, and we got Duke Shelley in there. Duke Shelley and Kindle are both sub 6 feet. They're like 5'10" or something. I'm like, oh, if they come out with a Hail Mary over here, just little boy us, I'm gonna be so pissed.
And it almost when it got tipped, it was just, oh my God. I crumbled to the floor.
That was a good game though.
It was a great game.
That was a lot of fun to watch, and I haven't had much fun watching the Bears in the last like this year so far. So for whether we would have won or lost, that still would have been a really good game. But sorry, Remy. Better luck next year, man.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, Remy, and I mean, this is kind of what the downfall of the Viking season is, losing these close games, right? I mean, if you go back to the beginning of the season, like week 3, lose by 1 to the Titans, lose by 1 to the Seahawks, lose by 3 to the Cowboys. So, I mean, you're in this position now because of these 4 games, really, where they just couldn't finish.
Tampa
at the end
Bay
for some reason.
was 4 missed kicks. It's crazy.
I mean, so do you think the future is bright in Minnesota?
Oh,
with,
yeah.
How many
absolutely. Absolutely. Corner is one of the hardest positions to play. And when you have 2 rookies starting outside corners, you're going to get burnt. It's going to take 2 to 3 years to get these guys developed. We need to go sign an offseason veteran to get in there and just have that veteran corner presence in the locker room. Again, not having Anthony Barr or Eric Kendricks or Danielle Hunter or Michael Pierce, our defense is going to look a lot different next year. And by different, I mean we're going to be improved because we're missing our star guys. But I do still think there is a small window for Minnesota to make some noise.
I want to go around just because I think that Jefferson is literally playing like a 5-year vet. He's got so much confidence.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks like anything that's in his radius, he comes down with no problem. It's incredible. His 50-50, I know the announcers were talking about it, about him being tremendous this year. Who's your guys' offensive rookie of the year this year? Do you think it goes to Jefferson, or do you think it goes to one of the quarterbacks, Herbert? What do you guys think?
From what I've saw, it's came down to Herbert or Justin Jefferson, and just Twitter. From what I've seen, a lot of people it's split. It's pretty split. But I think after today, Jefferson's just breaking Moss's records, and he go for a 108 today.
Yeah, but I mean, Justin Herbert's breaking the all-time rookie touchdown passing record.
It's going to be close,
and that's without starting a couple games. I would lean Herbert.
I'm with you, Big Z. I'm going to lean just slightly Herbert as well, but Jefferson's right there in that conversation. He's the only other one I would even consider.
Definitely.
It's tough to take this out of a quarterback's hands, but I mean, it's hard not to just want to fight for LSU. The guy going in purple and gold for the 2 straight years, but I think Herbert playing the harder position, doing the record, breaking the records he's breaking, you got to lean that way too.
Moss's records, Randy Moss's records.
Well,
Yeah,
I think but Herbert's breaking every rookie quarterback's records ever. So
It'll be tight.
It'll
be tight. We'll see what the last 2 weeks do. Jefferson might go up and put up a
For sure.
150.
And that self-proclaimed Randy Moss best wide receiver in NFL history. Jerry Rice is 4th, right?
Yeah, apparently to Moss.
You saw that quote from him?
Yeah, I will always stand behind the GOAT.
Who did he say was number 2? I can't remember who he thought number 2 was.
T.O.
How'd you get his number?
Oh, Terrell Owens. Yeah, right. And then Jerry Rice is either 3rd or 4th, he said. Wait, Kinger, I wanted to ask you one more. Who would you rather face in the playoffs right now? I know there's 2 more games left, but would you rather see the Vikings or would you rather see the Bears?
That's an easy answer for me. I'd rather see Chicago just because historically how well we've done against them, right? And just Rodgers' career history number against them. I mean, that's the fact. But you already mentioned I'm not going to write off, especially if we lose to Tennessee next week. With how the Bears are playing right now, I will definitely not write off Week 17, but you just got to go based off historical success.
So, Kinger, if the Vikings and Packers match up, you're scared versus you'd rather play the Bears, eh?
I'd rather play the Bears than the Vikings. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, right?
I will take that moral victory. I will take the moral victories.
So Barney, I mean, let's look ahead for your team here as they have the better road to make the playoffs now. You are facing Jacksonville next week, who is probably trying to at all costs to lose, so they can hold on to that number 1 pick right now. Crazy, the Jets had number 1 pick all season till today. I should mention that the fact that the Jets won today means the Lions will still remain the only 0-16 team in NFL history. So congratulations to us. They like to say the Dolphins pop the champagne when the last undefeated team loses. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Lions do when the last defeated team wins a game. Maybe they go to I don't know. I don't know what they do.
One of their best players retires.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God. But so Barney, I mean, you really needed some help today from the Eagles. I don't know who do the Cardinals have the next 2 weeks. That's what you're looking at here.
They got Seattle Week 17. I don't know.
I think
they have the Rams and San Francisco, isn't it?
I thought it was Seattle. I actually just threw that out there, so I really don't know.
No, I think you're right. Kinger. But I'm looking right now because it is important. That's the only teams they're trailing right now to make the playoffs. Eagles and Cardinals, really fun game to watch today if nobody caught it. But so the Cardinals have the 49ers next week, and then they're at the Rams actually. Yeah. So those
I was not correct.
The 49ers can definitely play with them. Although they look bad lately.
Those are 2 teams that if I'm trying to get Cardinals to lose one, I'm happy with those 2 opponents.
Barney,
there.
Who do you guys have Week 17?
And Barney, are you?
We have Green Bay, but that's if Green Bay, if Green Bay has everything locked up. I don't know if they're going to want to put.
Bears need to lose one, and the Cardinals need to lose out, and we need to win out to get in. So I'm hoping you lose one for starters.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, it ain't over till it's over.
That's right, my friend. That's right. But I think Jacksonville's going to do everything they can to hold on to the gift that they were just given to from the Jets. I don't think that's going to be much. I think it all comes down to Green Bay and Tennessee here. And if Green
Are you rooting for Green Bay next weekend?
Honestly, God, dude, I would love to punch you guys in the mouth week 17 with your full starters out there. We're playing the best ball we've ever had. I don't give a shit what you guys do next week. I know a dub. I know a dub's coming in week 17 anyway.
Last question though, Barney. I mean, the Bears. I wanted to get this question, then we'll wrap it up. But you know, the Bears, known for their defense for most of the year, the defense has looked extremely suspect now. They've been blessed to suddenly turn on the offense at a time when the defense is going the opposite direction. So what the hell is going on with that side of the ball, and do you see it improving?
Yeah, I think it'll improve a little bit. I think I touched on it a little bit last week. My theory that some of the guys were sandbagging till the end of the year. Some of the older guys like Robert Quinn, he came out and had a good game today. I think these guys are just peaking when the time's right. As far as our defense goes, I mean, today we were down some cornerbacks. You know, we had Jalen Johnson out. We had Buster Screen out, which, he's not that great, but it's still putting in, a rookie to get in there. And, we didn't really have a lot of depth at safety because Deion Bush was out. So we had some interesting looks out there. And, we haven't been playing, our best defense in the last couple weeks. You're right. But we did just come off a 6 or 7 point, allowance to Houston. So it's not like they're only playing bad right now. We just came off a great game in Houston. So, I think if we go into Jacksonville and steamroll them and we go into week 17, I feel like Kevin Millar again, man. Don't let us win because, week 17 versus your rival to get into the playoffs, can't ask for anything more.
That is a fun game. I just want to throw in there that the Bears are on the outside looking in right now because the Lions had a massive comeback a couple weeks ago. Just want to throw that one in there because that's all I got on this season. If they don't make the playoffs, you can take the Lions.
Oh my God, I can't believe we lost to you guys. It's killing me.
Bad. It's bad. That's very bad.
But
all right.
I want to let you guys know because we're not a Jinx podcast here. I'm already counting my chickens. I think I might have hit my first 10-team parlay.
What's the last one? What's the last one you need?
I just need Pitt money line tomorrow night versus the Bengals. So I'm counting my chicken.
And Barney, I had my first 3-0 day today, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm back on the horse. I'm back on the horse.
Congratulations. So that's what I'm talking about, baby.
You were right. I was walking away with at least one winner with the Bears, and luckily my other picks hit this week, so we're feeling good.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so a fun week of football. There's only 2 more left, and then the playoffs. That's it. I hate this part of the year, but I also love it because I only hate it because that means football's winding down. It's not ramping up anymore. But I love it because it's the best. Best to watch. We got the bowl season. We got NFL playoffs coming up. It's a fun time of year, and then Christmas, New Year's, of course. So we'll probably come to you a little earlier next week due to the holiday. So we'll look out for that as we preview. There's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games of the NFL next week. So there's a lot to discuss with 2 weeks left in the season. So we'll be previewing that, and that episode might come out Tuesday or Wednesday. So just be on the lookout for that. Instagram at The Pylon. Twitter at The Pylon. The Pylon Pod, I'm sorry. And please subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave a review. Really appreciate it. But that's all we got. So be on the lookout. For Kinger, Barney, Remy, I'm Big Z. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And start enjoying your holidays.
Mitchie touchdowns. Bear down.